What's up, everybody? Jeremy Weiss here with Weiss Tech Hockey, and today I wanted to show you a really basic defensive zone coverage setup called the Box Plus One. Now, you may or may not have heard of the Box Plus One already. It's a simple and straightforward defensive zone coverage setup, but one of the reasons why I really like it is because it's a great introductory system to young players. So players that maybe aren't used to playing complex systems, this is a really good, simple setup that they can use to kind of get their feet wet with the systems, and at the same time, it can be modified and progressed into more complex versions of defensive zone coverage setups, and we'll show you how to do that in another video. But this is the Box Plus One. Very good. It's a passive defensive zone coverage setup, so it's very safe. But at the same time, like I said before, there's some modifications that you can make to make it a little bit more aggressive. So let's go ahead and pull up the rink, and I'll show you what we've got set up here. The X's are the opposing team, so those are the players on offense right now, and obviously the circles are our own team. And different teams have different setups. I basically just put one man in the corner here, another forward here on the boards, and then we've got our two defensemen and one guy in front of the net. Now, some teams will maybe move this guy over in front of the net, try to get more people in front of the net. Sometimes they'll move him down behind the net. Just depending on the team, this setup will probably be something similar to this, but may or may not be a little bit different. So it doesn't matter, we'll still set up the same way. That's part of one of the good things about this system is there isn't too much read and react. It's just you go to your position setup and the system works by itself. So what we're going to do here is the closest player to the puck will attack. That's where we've got our right defenseman. So right defenseman will go out and pressure the puck carrier. Centerman will set up on the strong side corner of the box. Okay, so he's the one the centerman's position isn't always the same. I'll show you how this works. But if the puck is in the corner, centerman's going to be on the strong side post, supporting the attacking player. Okay, so supporting in this scenario his right defenseman. Left defenseman will be on the far post. Okay, and that's his general position. So he goes there, sets up, and then he doesn't just stand there. He goes there, sets up, and then looks and see if there are any opposing players around. So in this case, he'd set up here, and then most likely he'd probably be wanting to pick up on this guy so that we don't have a guy standing in front of the net by himself. Left winger, same kind of thing as the left defenseman. So that weak side winger, he sets up on the weak side. I call it the high post just because it's roughly in line with the post, but higher up in the slot. So left wing's on the weak side high post, and he's doing the same thing. That's his general setup, but at the same time, he's got his head on a swivel, making sure that maybe this defenseman doesn't sneak in behind him or try to penetrate through the middle of your box. Or if they've got a second forward over here, obviously he's going to want to make sure he picks up that guy. So set up on the weak side high post, but at the same time head on a swivel, picking up any additional players that may be lurking around there. And then the right winger is on the strong side high post, and it's basically kind of the same thing. He's there, but then he's making sure that nobody's penetrating the box. He's also probably anticipating a possible pass out to the point. And that's basically his job. So with the Box Plus One, as you can see, you're never ever going to be outmanned in front of the net. It's physically impossible. As long as they have one player with the puck, then it's impossible for them to have more than 4 players in front of the net. So you're never going to be outmanned in front of the net, which is part of the reason why it's so effective. And but it's, like I said before, it is a little bit passive. So that is the basic setup. Now let's say that the puck gets shot around and now it's in this corner. I'm not going to draw all the other teams' movements. I'm just going to assume that one of their players, probably this guy in this case, is going to go get the puck. So what we're going to do here is puck comes into this corner. Now it's just a simple shift. Left defenseman comes down to play the puck. Centerman comes across. Like I said before, he plays on he's the moving corner of the box. So the centerman is always going to be on the strong side corner of the box. So he slides over to take the strong post in this case, and the right defenseman comes over to the rear post, or weak side post. And that's the basic shift there. So if it goes corner to corner, the only 3 players that move are the 2 defensemen and the centerman. Then let's say it comes up to the point. Okay, then the shift is still simple. The player on this closest corner of the box is going to go out and attack. And depending on whether or not the opposing player has good control of the puck, it'll either be aggressive or contain, or attack or contain. And then the centerman slides up, He's always on the strong side corner of the box, and the left defenseman retreats back to the front of the net. So you've always got your box in front of the net, and then you've got your +1, and that is the box +1. In later videos, I'm going to show you how this can convert into a breakout, and I'm also going to show you how this can be progressed into more complex versions of defensive zone coverage setups.